These three gentlemen take mental well-being seriously, but are not serious. They'd rather swear and make irreverent jokes. Now that you know, the healing may commence.
Hello and good evening, gentle listeners. Welcome to We're Probably Not Okay, the world's only podcast. I am your host and very best friend, Ryan Brown, and to my immediate, nope, that's me. That's who I am. That guy, this over here, that's the shepherd of the forest, Brandon Full. But don't let me tell you. He can tell you. Go ahead.
I'm the only shepherd of the forest in the entire world, Brandon.
He's the only one. The only one.
And of course, with us hanging out in the basement
is David Musgrave, the man kissed by all angels. But I have a question. What happened to all the other podcasts, and what happened to all the other shepherds of the forest?
Well, the shepherds of the forest were all in your head. Oh. And all the other podcasts were the friends we made along the way.
Wait a minute. Is this podcast in my head? Is this happening?
Yes.
David, wake up. David, wake up. David, wake up.
That's actually kind of terrifying. Don't do that.
We actually died 20 years ago.
Oh, no, don't say that. I hate that.
What's up, my handsome lads?
Just being handsome, bro. Just, out here making the world look a little better. One smile at a time.
Who wants to talk to me about their mental health?
No one.
Listen to me. I wish that were true.
Oh, yeah. I forgot what you did for a living. Never mind. I'll go first. Mental Hellness Check-In. David Musgrave. Episode 79, 80, 76? I don't know. Whatever episode this is, edition, is as follows. My work has gotten considerably shittier, and I hate that because I've seen myself kind of spiraling back towards a person that I was when I worked at my last job. And so I'm going to start actively trying to do something about that because we can't have that. Both from a mental...
What kind of...
Go ahead.
What kind of person do you see yourself turning into?
Not a very pleasant one. A very stressed individual who has big reactions when big reactions aren't needed. In my personal life and in my work life, I've become a worried person again. And I think that's starting to bleed into a lot of different aspects of my life. Making decisions out of fear and being guided mentally by fear. And that is not needed. Probably both from where my actual stability in my workplace stands, as well as obviously my personal life as well. So it's not.
So is it your workload that's changed, or is it your work environment, or is it management?
Management. It's definitely management. I don't think my workload has increased, and yet it feels like it has. In fact, I actually think my workload in some ways has decreased. It's just a different type of work now, and it's actually work that I wanted. And yet it feels much harder all of a sudden and insurmountable, and like I don't want to do it, when even just weeks ago that was not the case. So all of these are symptoms. Hold on one second. Alexa, stop alarm.
2-hour timer stopped on Musgrave Manor House.
Okay. So all of these things are symptoms of an issue, and I do think it stems from my leadership. There was a lot of changes in my company, and in and of itself, the changes have been kind of scary. But now I see more and more changes and more focus changes. And so it's all just kind of led to a very unpleasant situation that I really need to take a step back from and kind of reevaluate how I handle work and if I want to continue to handle work at this location or at this company. And remember that...
Did you get a new boss?
I did several months ago, and then the leader of our department got fired. Like, he got hired under her and worked under her for about a month, and then she got fired very surprisingly, and then he kind of has stepped into the role, and it has been a little contentious. And luckily, he seems to be trying to kind of become a little more hands-off, but he's the type of person that even if he's telling you you're doing good, it makes you feel like you're doing something wrong.
Mm.
And I don't do well under that. So, it's just kind of some of the old demons poking their heads out. And at least I can see it. But just because you can see it doesn't mean you stop yourself from jumping off the cliff.
And in a lot of ways, it makes it more difficult because you can recognize your patterns, but you feel without, necessarily having the knowledge of how to break those cycles, it can be even more frustrating. It's like watching yourself slowly repeat the same stuff that has plagued you in the past. Like, it can be very difficult.
I think that's fair. And so I think I'm going to take some steps to help me break those cycles, both professionally and personally. So,
are you going to kill your boss?
I'm probably going to kill my boss, is basically what I'm saying. Yeah.
Mm. I always advocate for killing your boss.
Can you share any of the steps you're going to take? Are they too personal? Because if they're too personal, that's cool.
I don't think it's too personal. I think, we talk a lot about therapy and me being undiagnosed in a lot of ways. I think that's probably, something that is probably past due. And beyond that, I think just some personal life changes as well. Simple things, including like meditation. I have been living a pretty healthy lifestyle. But even things like making sure that I'm sleeping enough and focusing on my health and, my relationship and being a good dad and just focusing on what's important and not letting the stress, like if I'm starting to feel that the stress of work rear its ugly head, just taking a step back and remembering what's important and focusing what's important and not getting drugged down into that. So, And a lot of that when I kind of was a little vague with that last part, but I think that, it is really taking a step back and trying to do less at work. I think I'm the only person in my department that has been told multiple times that I'm doing too much. And so if you keep telling me that I'm doing too much, guess what? I'll do less. That's fine. And so...
sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. I've very purposely took this job as kind of a step back from what I was doing. And I've kind of been racing towards doing more and doing more and doing more. And I got to remember why I took this job to begin with. And I realized that it's enough. And I'm, again, still the fifth strongest person in my department, like we've said. So if there's nothing else. So
the rest are cowards and half men.
They are. It's true. What about you, Brandon?
I'm pretty much where you are, honestly. Like, not stealing thunder or anything. I just
glad I went first.
With work. Having issues with work, feeling like a shitty parent. That's been, I think that's part of just getting older and watching your kid grow up. Is, at least for me, I'm thinking about all the times I failed them, all the times I wasn't there. There's a couple times specifically that they're going to remember that I wasn't there for them. And I know that they're going to remember, and I know what people would say to me who would want to cheer me up, and they would say, well, they're going to remember so much more positive things than the few negative things. But like, I have a couple negative thoughts of my parents from growing up, like major negative things that really affected me. And I've been milking that on a podcast for 10 fucking years. You know what I mean? So I worry that maybe just those couple things are going to define me as a parent to her or to them. And I worry that I also think that I shouldn't think that, you know?
Have you talked to them about
Well,
that?
don't worry about what you should or shouldn't think. Like, don't torture yourself that way. That's just icing on a shit cake. Like, you think what you think. You know what I mean? Like, if you beat yourself up for thinking you should think something different, like,
yeah, that's true.
Pointless. You know, like, but also too, like, I think I mean, I absolutely understand what you're saying because I feel the same way. Like, I struggle with the same thing, and like, there's so many times that I can think of in my head, just like right off the dome of like, man, I wish I had done thing X differently. I wish I had more money that I could have actually done something.
Yeah.
You know, but like, I don't know. I mean, your kid likes you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not nothing, you know, because like, because what you were saying about your parents, like, I mean, I was there, you know, with you.
Yeah.
You didn't like your parents very much.
Yeah, no, not at all.
And I understand that. So I think if nothing else, I think at least your kid likes you as a person, and I think that will more than color the outcome of like the mean total of your parentage once they're an adult. You know what I mean? Like, I think when they're an adult, are they going to look back at you as somebody they liked being around or somebody that made them feel unsafe or unwanted or unliked? And they're not going to think that. They're going to be like, I like my dad. I like him as a person. Like, he is the kind of person I enjoy being around. And if nothing else, like, that's better than most parents of our generation, right?
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
I do feel better about
Not
that.
nothing. Yeah. It's not nothing.
Ryan fixed us again.
I was gonna say you just got a Class A RB Fixin right there.
Yeah, I did. But besides that, things have been okay. Like, I've been feeling down about a lot of stuff, but also trying to just, as I think I've mentioned before, just let it wash over me and then stand up is what I'm picturing. Like ocean water washing over my head, and then I'm standing up out of the water like Aquaman, like all ripped and muscular. You know how I am in real life.
Yeah.
Just like glistening.
Makes sense.
Really glistening. But so I try to view life like that
shiny?
also. So yeah. I didn't know the ocean was that greasy.
Do you know are you familiar with Dune, Brandon?
I have not seen Dune or read the books. That's a big nerd blind spot for me.
Well, have you ever heard it's like the classic thing from Dune, the litany against fear? Fear is the mind killer. Like, I'm sure you've heard that phrase. But it's like this poem that these particular group of individuals say, and then but it ends with, I will allow my fear to pass over me and through me, and when it is gone, only I will remain. And that's kind of like what you were talking about. It's like, you know, you let your situations like pass over you and through you, but you're still there even when it's gone, you know, and there's a certain like strength in that continuity, you know, knowing that whatever else happens, you're going to outlast it.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to I need to do some growing up mentally, and I'm trying to do that. So that's where I'm at. I'm trying not to complain too much, at least on audio.
Well, what do you mean by growing up?
I mean, just like handling stuff in a more adult way, handling work in a more adult way, handling my personal relationships in a more adult way. I know that that's saying an adult way is loaded. And the question then is, well, what is a proper adult way? You know, I feel like I've been living too immature of a life, not with my hobbies or anything, just with my reaction to work and responsibility. And it's not working, you know? So,
you know, I think we are in a pretty similar place right now in that regard. And funny, I kind of feel like I used to be more adult in my reactions to those kinds of things and my approach to life. And I kind of feel like I've taken a step back in that regard, and like that I need to progress forward again. So do you feel like you used to handle that in more adult way as well? Or do you
No.
No?
No, I feel like I've kind of been in this arrested development for quite a while.
Hmm.
And I've been in a relationship my entire life until I've been single the last 6 years of my life,
Hmm.
living in this nice 2-bedroom apartment the last like 3 years of my life, living alone. And I love it. I love it. But I don't know. There's a lot. It's just a lot to think about. I don't need to go into it anymore right now, but like just the state we live in and how shitty it is and raising a kid here, and when you don't have money, it's even harder for that kid to get the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing you want them to do to escape this city or this state, both. But anyway, overall thumbs up. Ryan, how are you?
Well, I'm glad. Overall, thumbs up. I'm okay. I'm soldiering on. You may have noticed I'm in a different location today. That's because I'm in my office. I'll give you guys a tour here in a second. Be riveting for our audio listeners, but go subscribe to us on YouTube, motherfuckers.
Or just describe it really,
but-
really well, Ryan, like in great detail.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm not the dungeon master in the family. That's my son. So, I recently got my certification for to be a peer recovery coach, which was a lot. It was a lot of work. I had to write a lot of essays, more essays than I thought I would ever have to write at 41 years old. Other than that, I've just been, oh, wow.
Really delayed. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just been working and doing my best to survive. That's really it. I saw Superman 9 times total. It's not in theaters around here anymore, so my total overall was 9 times.
It's impressive.
And here, let me give you a tour. Here, we'll start off at you guys are coming with me.
Ooh,
It's like Ryan's carrying us.
I know.
You're
It's so
safe in my cradle in my arms.
so
here's
comforting. It is so comforting.
My front door. You can see my
Come back with a warrant. Nice.
and my delightful bulletin board and my Bill and Ted Superman print.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
My He-Man coloring book for people who need to wait, and pillow made by a friend of mine when I left my old office. And then over here, I got that print at the local convention
Nice.
recently,
That's awesome.
and I got my movie poster,
Nice.
and then my bookshelf with my Star Trek stuff. Oh, and I got a jackalope head on my wall there. You can see that.
As you got to
That's
do.
cool.
That is cool.
My little window garden,
Nice.
and my bookshelf with more toys on it. Got a lot of Fallout
I was
down
going to
there.
say. I see
And
some
then over
photos
here,
there.
let's check this out, Brandon. That's the Misfits album you got me,
Nice.
and some other things I've been to, and then over here, I got my Star Trek Cats calendar, which is always a huge hit. And then you guys are down here. Can you guys see each other?
Oh, we are.
All my beloved friends
Oh,
and
I
family
love it.
there.
I'm glad we're on
Even
that
the
wall.
picture where we're doing vagina instead of Illuminati.
True, that's exactly what it is.
Well, that makes me happy. Your office is
Mhm.
nice, dude.
It is. Well, I'm in a local. My office is in a local shelter.
Oh,
There's a lot of well, it was originally a giant abandoned hotel.
I was
that
gonna say-
bought by
I was gonna say it looks like a hotel room, so I'm glad.
because it's got the hotel.
Nice, nice.
Which means I have my own bathroom over there, but with a shower in it. But it was local. It was an abandoned hotel that got bought out and renovated and turned into like a homeless shelter. But then also too, it has like all these other. It's a lot of the hotel. Like half of the hotel room was turned in, or half the hotel rooms were turned into like offices for local like charities and organizations and stuff like that. And then the bottom floor is a food pantry. So it's like all of this great, like, social resource stuff, like in this giant converted hotel, which is pretty
That's
cool.
really cool.
Yeah. And they're going to turn one of the floors, they're going to turn into a free clinic, which is going to be really nice whenever that
Yeah.
happens. But, And yes, that's my office. And I got a whole ass window that opens up and everything, which I didn't have. Although it's a very jarring transition for me because for 10 years of my life, I was in an office about this size, but I shared it with 5 other people.
Oh, Lord.
Holy crap.
And so now it's just me in this big space. And I'm like, I miss bumping backs with somebody whenever I needed to go to the bathroom.
No, that's really cool. Well deserved and very cool. It seems like not only does it feel very cozy, you've made it very cozy, but it seems like you're just like in a really like wholesome place, like a nice, like actually good location, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think so. My new job, I don't think that they probably don't want me saying who I work for, but my new job, my new organization, they're really nice to me and they're really like good people. Like
Good.
that's always the thing that's I don't know, not working for like a giant like capitalist organization is not something I've done
Yeah.
to like I've done it like one other time, but not for very long. And working for a group that's not profit based is very I don't know, it's nice.
Yeah, I'm really happy.
Because I don't gotta worry. I just get to help people for the love of the game. Like I still get paid, of course, because we live in a fucking capitalist dystopia. I have to or I'll die. But it is nice to be able to do that without like someone breathing down my neck being like, did you maximize that interaction fiscally? Like, I don't know. I fucking helped him. I don't know. What do you want?
That's good. I'm really happy for you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah,
But,
that's really cool,
thank you.
man.
Thanks. But now I have this nice space, so you'll probably see it more frequently whenever I'm recording. Not every time, of course, but sometimes.
Yeah, cool.
So,
Studio
and that's
B.
Studio B. That's a good way to put it. And it's just easier because I don't have to inconvenience anybody else in my home, because the only space like that I could usually record is in the living room, which means nobody else could use the TV, nobody else could use the PlayStation, nobody else could be in the living room, and it's a big open. So technically, nobody else could be in the kitchen either, because then you would hear like the footsteps on the recording. But the only downside is there's no cats here, so
Bring a cat to work day is all I'm saying.
I have thought about it. I'm not gonna lie. I thought about bringing my cat. Yeah.
What would they do? Do you think they'd be like, "Oh, cool, you brought a cat," or would they be like, "Ugh, Ryan"?
I don't know. They might just be like, "Oh, cool, you brought a cat," or they might come in and be like, "Why is your cat here?"
When you said what would they do, I thought you meant the cat. And I was thinking like,
my cat?
I don't know, just cat stuff.
Yeah.
Cats, David. Like, what do you think they do?
Purr,
Just cat
sleep.
stuff. Be dumb everywhere.
Yeah,
That's what they love to do.
that is what they love to do. That is what they love to do.
Well, so today let's move on to our topic here. Today we're going to be talking about nature. Brandon, as the shepherd of the forest, I suspect this will be a topic that you have keen and particular insight into.
Absolutely, yes. I'm going to say with
Good.
total confidence.
Well, good.
Yes.
I know all.
Do
nature.
you guys have a lot of experience like with nature as a whole, like being in nature? Do you consider yourselves like nature people?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good. What would you say what's your earliest memory of being in nature? Oh, and to answer my previous question, I do not like being in nature.
What? Really?
I feel very exposed when I am in like a nature environment. Like if I'm in the woods or something. Well, if I'm like in the woods or like hiking or camping or something, I feel like unsafe. Like not unsafe, like something might get me, but like exposed might be the best way to put it.
I can tell you one of the clearest memories I have of being in nature, and it is a time that I probably shouldn't have been. But I lived in North Dakota for a couple of years when I was very, very young. So I was probably maybe 4 or 5 at the time. And my grandpa came to visit from Ohio. And he apparently had told me on the phone or something that we were going to have a picnic. Just a fun little grandpa grandson bonding time over a picnic. So he gets there and it proceeds to blizzard, as is wont to do in North Dakota. And he's like, nope, we're going to go on a picnic. So we packed up peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and a thermos of hot chocolate and walked across the street. And it's like still blizzarding. And he's like, nope, we're going to have a picnic. I told you we're going to have a picnic. We're going to have a picnic. So we found this kind of, I guess, ditch or kind of a hole. I don't know if you know much about North Dakota, but if there's any kind of ditch or hole, it will be filled with tumbleweeds, because they will have blown in there because there's no other elevation change other than ditch and hole in North Dakota. So we get down in this ditch full of tumbleweeds and like kind of get under them and proceed to eat our frozen ass peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and like hold onto the thermos and like for life sustaining warmth, drink this hot chocolate. And then like the second it was gone, he was like, okay, let's go back. So that's
awesome, though,
the first clearest memory I have of an exposure to nature. And again, probably a time that I should not have been exposed to the elements, but
Yeah, I would say. What about you, Brandon?
Well, this isn't necessarily a memory of mine, because like the earliest memories I have of nature is like going out in my parents' backyard, barefoot, running around in the grass and stuff. Like, we just had a big forest behind our house. How old kids would be where they're still learning to walk? Would that be like 2 and 3, or would that be older?
Yeah, you started to learn to walk like a little bit before 2.
Okay, so I was around that age. I was walking, but barely. And apparently I was very afraid of leaves. So they would take me outside, and it was like a party trick. My mom laughs about it. She'd take me outside when there are people around and sit me down in leaves, and they'd just laugh at me.
My
Because
God.
I'd be crying. But no, apparently I was like, like I hated touching them, and I was really grossed out by them for some reason. I don't know. I have no problem with leaves now, but at that point in my life, I did not like leaves.
There wasn't a lot on TV back then. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
I get it.
Hey, watch this kid freak out about leaves. It's hilarious.
You want to see something
Yeah.
cool?
Yeah, have another Pall Mall.
They hadn't invented Yellowstone, so what did old people even watch back then?
Kids and leaves.
Yeah.
We went camping all the fucking time when I was a kid. I think that's honestly like one of the big reasons I hated.
Yeah, that could be.
I'm not overly fond of it, is because we went camping so much, and there is a severe, when you go camping with your family, and especially like with other families, like as a unit, there is such a severe lack of privacy. Like, you can go to the bathroom or you can go hide somewhere, and that's about it as far as like being like away from, a bunch of people. And so like I feel like that probably had something to do with
Which
it.
is
And
funny.
one time a bear slept beside our tent, and that scared the shit out of me as a little kid. Like
Yeah.
we used to we used to do tent camping, and I was probably like not very old. I was like 9 or 10 maybe, and it was at Blackwater Falls, and the bears there are like very chill and domesticated, but they're still fucking black bears.
They are still bears.
They are still bears, right? And so I was also still a child,
Uh,
and so as what they would wait for like night when everybody would go to sleep, and they'd come rummage around everybody's trash can. So you had to like lock your trash can up or whatever. And so one night, like, they came and rummaged around in the trash area or whatever, and then for some reason, I do not know why, it just decided to plop itself beside our tent, like right up against where I was sleeping, and just go to sleep there. And it was just like right here to me. Like, all that was separating us was like a little bit of nylon in the tent, and I was like, oh God. And so eventually it like got up and moved on, and I fucking booked it out of that tent and into the van and slept in the van with the doors locked.
Oh, yeah.
I was about to say that I don't think there's an age that I could be where that wouldn't terrify me, but the more you described it, snuggling with the bear, I don't know. I might like it.
Yeah. I don't recommend it, though. I'm definitely not.
I've had some dogs that were
Yeah.
almost bear size, and they can be really cuddly at night. So I don't know. It might be pleasant.
Yeah. So what would you say your relationship with nature is? What did you say it's like, friendly? Would you say it's a comforting place for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm barefoot like 99% of the time. If I'm not at work, I'm barefoot. Like if I'm walking outside, if I'm going to check my mail, if I'm in the grass, I'm just not wearing shoes. I
Even
love
when
the
it's
feel
cold?
of like, even when it's cold. Like if it's snowy, no. If it's less than snowy, yeah, I'll go barefoot.
Mm.
I like the feeling of the ground beneath me. So in that sense, I really enjoy nature, like the feeling of grass and dirt and mud and all that crap.
Yeah, I like that too, and it doesn't hurt that I have a pool in my backyard. So often, I would just go out there barefoot, out straight to the pool and stuff like that. But I often do find myself, not as much anymore, but before years past, definitely outside barefoot quite a bit, in the grass barefoot, stuff like that. So I feel disconnected from nature currently as much as I have been in the past. I mean, one of my favorite things to do is hike. And that is actually something that Kira and I've been talking about is hiking more on the weekends and stuff again, because that's my entire life. That's like what you do on the weekends. You go hiking and find new places to hike and new things to see. And, let's go find this waterfall. And, I love finding weird stuff out in the woods and like old abandoned homes like that were hundreds of years old. And it's just the foundations of them and just exploring and seeing stuff. And like there's this one place where I forget what it's called, 10-acre rock or something like that. It's this huge like flat rock that just goes and goes and goes and goes, and it kind of goes over to a cliff on the edge of it. Now, but you can see where Native Americans had like dug holes and probably like used it to make food in or grind stuff up and stuff like that. And just that connection to like kind of the past and nature and stuff like that. I love seeing stuff like that and being out and being a part of it. And when Charlotte was first born, like first year, 2 years of her life, we were hiking a lot and doing that. And we kind of haven't this last year, but I want to get back to it for sure, because I feel more comfortable and at ease when I've been in nature. And when I was a kid, I was in the woods all the time, just go explore and playing in the woods with my friends and stuff. That's like what we did, to the point where when I was even up until like when I was a young teenager, my friends would come over, we'd go out into the woods and play, to mess around. At that point, we probably didn't call it play, even though that's what it was. But one of the last times I was in the woods, like with a group of friends like that, it started getting a little silly, because half of my friends were like, okay, the three of us are on a team and the three of you on our team. And it was like the biggest of our guys that were saying like, we're going to do this thing. It's like, and we're just going to fight each other. So we're going to go over here, use sticks, use stones, whatever you need to. We're at war now.
And we're going to try and fucking kill each other.
So we're like, okay, why are you three deciding this is what we're going to do? And you're like the giants, and like you're leaving me with these two weenies? What are we doing here? And so they like go up on this hill and they pick up this log, the three of them, and throw it down the hill at us. And like it almost like hit me. So I like turned and it like snapped my elbow and like almost broke my elbow.
Oh my God.
To this day, like if I hit this elbow, my entire arm will go like, funny bone feeling. No. My entire arm goes numb and turns red hot. And it'll like lock up on me sometimes and stuff too. Like I'll have to like be like, oh no. And like pop it like back into place a little bit. So that wasn't the most fun part of being in nature, but yeah, going out on the lake and stuff. We used to have little rubber dinghies and stuff. We'd go out on the lake and just all that kind of stuff. Fishing. I loved to fish when I was younger. Never hunted and never will. But yeah, I I could survive off of some fish out in the woods by myself if I had to.
So do you and this is a question for both of you, do you see nature as sacred then?
Sacred to me or sacred in general?
Either or.
Yes, either way.
Hmm. In what, how so?
Like, I think, not to get too political, but whenever they started talking about carving up the national parks and shit, that really, really angered me because it's like, can you not just have anything nice? Like, nature is one of the last refuges where you can go outside. Nobody's trying to fucking sell you anything. And, you know, you can go out with friends or you can go out by yourself. And the worst thing that's going to happen is maybe you get mauled by a mountain lion. But more than likely, you're going to see a cool squirrel and have a funny story to tell about how it ate a piece of pizza or some shit.
Right.
You know? So in that way, I think nature, So in that way, I think nature is sacred, in that it holds a very special place in my heart that very few things do.
You know, I posted
you,
a video.
David?
You know, I posted a video of a squirrel eating a piece of pizza, right?
Did you really?
Yeah. Yeah. You need to go check out. I think it's Kira and I's the legendary adventures of Kivid. We saw a squirrel eating a piece of pizza. It was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in my entire life.
I've got to check that out.
Yeah,
That would be amazing. Yeah.
Let's stop podcasting.
That would be something to
Go.
yeah.
Was it in
Tell
nature
people
though?
about.
It was at a park, so kinda
Oh, okay, so yeah.
close enough. But yeah, no, I do think of nature as sacred. I mean, it's our planet is nature. We're the ones that turn nature not nature. And unfortunately we do that at an increasing rate. And like, just especially this area where I live is just, it's growing so quickly. And there's all these people from up north moving down here, and it's just like getting like bastardized. It used to be a really cool, again, like a lot of Native American history and stuff in this area, and all of that's just kind of getting pushed aside, and we're building housing communities. And driving up the road, like every other day, driving up the road, it's like, oh, they just plowed all this field, all these trees. There's like hundreds and hundreds and thousands of trees that are just getting cut down every single day, and it's just disgusting, and I hate it. And it definitely feels like it's sacrilegious, that we're defiling something sacred.
Yeah.
What about you?
What's your opinion on that, Ryan?
No, I mean, I can 100% get behind that. I also feel like, I think mankind has kind of divorced itself, like David was saying, kind of divorced itself from its connections to, and I'm not even saying that I haven't done that, because I definitely have. But or maybe that was done to me. I don't know. But like, either way, I don't feel that personal connection, but I do feel like I do recognize like the sacredness and the value and like the interconnectedness of all things. Like, it's just like, we get rid of, do you remember a few years back when like there was the disappearing bee crisis?
Yeah.
And like people were freaking out because like, well, if the bees are gone, that's going to fuck up completely fuck up our entire ecosystem, because everything is dependent on everything else. And there is a kind of like, I don't know, there is a kind of like spiritual significance present in the idea that like everything exists completely enmeshed with everything else. Like, I feel like that's valuable. And I feel like that's maybe something that humankind has forgotten, that we don't exist separate and apart from everything around us, but we exist like in communion with it. And I don't know, sometimes a bear needs to sleep beside you to remind you of that. I guess.
Absolutely. I'll tell a quick story where I felt kind of a spiritual moment in nature, I suppose. But my dad and
that was actually my next question.
Oh, well then let me answer it. My dad and I went on a canoeing trip years and years ago. I think I I don't even think I was out of high school yet. I might have only been like 16 or something. But my dad and I went on a canoeing trip to where my grandparents dropped us off with a canoe on a creek, and we went down miles and miles and miles, and they were going to pick us up at the other end of this creek. And it was kind of annoying at parts because the creek was lower than it should have been. So we were carrying the canoe quite a bit, and we had to carry it over all these like piled up logs and stuff where things had kind of washed up, and then the water went away. And so a lot of it was annoying, but there were these beautiful moments when it made it actually even nicer when we had a good amount of water for a while. We could go. And that this one really good stretch, this little otter ran up and was like watching us, and just kept running down the creek bank and like watching us and stopping and like looking, and we'd get up ahead a little bit and he'd run up and like stop and look. And so he was kind of like our little buddy for a little while. And then we got to another part of the creek where we had to carry the canoe, and we're both carrying the canoe, and all of a sudden we hear this, and it's like, it's getting louder and louder, this like thumping, this weird splashing thumping. And I'm like, what the heck? It almost sounded like a train. Like, what the heck is this? And so we put the canoe down, and both my dad and I turn around to look where the source of the noise was, and 3 huge bucks, like probably 8-point, 10, 12-point bucks, big bucks, are just running down the creek towards us, and they didn't stop at all. They didn't miss a step, and two of them went on one side of us and the other one on the other side, and just like ran past us. And so we're just like, both my dad and I completely silent, just watching these bucks run towards us and run past us, and just turning and watching them run. And you know, I'd never been that close to bucks like that, at least not in nature. And they were just big and powerful, and it seemed like the entire world just stopped and was just that moment with my dad and I, and something that we could share. And that felt significant. Not because I think, you know, those were just 3 deer living their lives, of course, but to be there in that moment. And that's something that if I was sitting on the couch playing video games, you know, I would never have had and never seen and never experienced. And it was just odd, so eerie how there was nothing else but that. And even after they were out of our sight, both my dad and I just kind of were watching after them, and then just kind of looked at each other like, that was something special. So,
Brandon, I know we've talked in the past, and I know that you don't particularly consider yourself a spiritual person, but have you ever had a moment that in nature that you felt was spiritually significant?
Honestly, no. I was racking my brain, especially as David was talking about it, to see if I had any sort of story that kind of matched or was around that, you know, the levity of that, and I really don't. Yeah, I don't have very many spiritual moments that I would consider. But yeah, I have a lot of good memories tied to nature, as I mentioned, but no full-on spiritual moments.
Well, let me ask you this, because this is something that I've thought about a lot myself. Do you feel like cities can offer you a genuine connection similar to what you would get from nature? Because if you think about it, you're surrounded by, you know, a bunch of humans. You're surrounded by a bunch of interconnected living things, a bunch of intertwining souls and lives and everything like that. But then also too, you're surrounded by like the product of man's creativity, ingenuity, and imagination. You know what I mean? So I think there's something, it's not the same, but it is something, you know what I mean? Like a certain kind of genuine connection to something larger that is present there.
So
what do you feel about that?
So I love cities, and I love exploring cities. I love just starting in a place and going and seeing what I can see, and walking in and meeting people and just experiencing like a little adventure. You and I have done it, Ryan, when we went and visited Chicago. We just, you know, went and I love Chicago. I've been there many times, and every time I've gone since that time, that's something that I try to do, is just go and walk and see. And sometimes it's scary. But for the most part, it's a really beautiful experience. But it's so different. It is
Mm-hmm.
a completely different experience in nature. And sure, there's some parks and things that kind of bring that back, and even rivers and ponds and things like that are of nature, but it feels like a display or an exhibit at that point. It's part of the what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say what is the word I'm looking for? Attractions is exactly the word I'm looking for. It's like it is an attraction. Like, hey, look at our little piece of nature here. It doesn't feel this. It doesn't feel the same. So I don't think that it has the same things to offer as nature. It is fun to explore and experience on a different level, but it's not like going into the woods.
And I agree with you, David. You pretty much summed up my opinion as well. I love cities. I would love to live in a big city. But
didn't you live in a big city?
Very short amount of time, like months, not like any significant time at all. But yeah, I would love to move to a large city and live there, but I don't think that it would be the same without being able to walk through the woods or being able to walk on grass somewhere. Where I lived before, it was right on Lake Michigan, so it was like maybe 6 blocks to walk to the lake there, as I mentioned before. So you were on beachfront, which was cool at least.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I wonder
I think.
Okay. What were you gonna say? I was just gonna say, I wonder if any of that is because like we're West Virginia natives.
Probably, yeah. It's like it's a big Ohio River.
Mm-hmm. We're sons of the mountain.
Yes,
that's true. That is
what were you saying, Brandon? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I don't remember. I don't think it was important.
All right. Well, that was really all I had as far as our conversation starters here today. So, do you want to move into some gray matter munchies, David?
Before we do, can I say one last thing about nature that I think is interesting in my connection with nature? It's been very rare that I've had this feeling, but I know we've kind of talked about this before. In moments of intense stress, to the point where I feel like I'm close to a breaking point, my first thought is I'm just going to go into the woods. And I've not had this thought for many years because obviously I have a daughter and responsibilities in a relationship that I actually care about and would never just walk away from like that. But definitely in years past, I've had it multiple times where I've thought today's the day where I'm just going to walk into the woods and that's it. I'm just going to simplify my life by walking away from everything else and going into the woods, and we'll see what happens from there. Obviously never acted upon that, but well, you know what? I will say there have been times where I've had that thought where I did indeed walk into the woods, not with the intent to stay there. But I find it interesting that, and maybe it's just because of the simplicity of thinking of that lifestyle. I was like, well, I'll just go catch what I need and sleep under a tree, and I don't have to worry about making money and having all this responsibility. But it's not like I'm going to go sleep at the park. It's I'm going to go into the woods.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can talk about some gray matter. Well, actually, before I say that, you guys have had that thought before, right? I'm not alone.
Of disappearing into the woods?
Yeah.
I haven't personally had that thought of disappearing into the woods. I have had the thought of disappearing. But usually it's like, I'm going to go live in a monastery somewhere and just learn Kung Fu.
I mean, that's good. Yeah, that's probably better than the woods. Damn it.
That's pretty good.
Not exactly, the same thing, but it's the same sentiment.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. All right, but yeah.
I've thought about wandering. I still sometimes, whenever I'm feeling depressed and I'm talking to friends, I'll say, I'm going to wander into the woods and let nature reclaim me. And I genuinely feel that way sometimes where I'm like you said, I just want to walk into the fucking woods, arms up, and say like vines, leaves, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Make me one with the trees.
And that's why you're the shepherd
Which
of
is
the forest.
why I'm shepherd of the forest. Yeah.
Exactly right. Exactly.
Bam.
Brought it full circle.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But yeah, Gray Matter Munchies, though. I really wish I would have memorized the intro for this. It's something along the lines of like, well, I don't know. So what's nourishing your brains these days? I'll just say that much.
Brandon,
Do you want me to go
first?
first? Yeah, because I know what we're going to talk about. Only thing really, still No Man's Sky. They just put out a huge update that's fucking awesome. It lets you build your own spaceships, and like people can ride in your spaceships with you. You can fly around. It's pretty cool. So I've been playing that the past few days. But I also tried. You guys, I assume, are familiar with Critical Role, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they started their own role-playing game company, and they released their first game called Daggerheart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I played that.
Yeah, I played in a game of that, and it was fucking great. Like we've got one or two more sessions to go, but yeah, it's a really fun environment. It's based on storytelling, so it's based on like there's roles. It's a 2d12 system, but when you make your character, you pick your connections and like your personality traits, and it's very storytelling based. It's a little bit more rigid than Monster of the Week,
right?
Powered by the Apocalypse that we played. A little more rigid than that, but less rigid than D&D. So it's kind of right in the middle there.
Oh God!
Yeah, I had played that at they did like a free RPG day thing at the comic book shop not too long ago, and my best pal Berto was running Daggerheart, and I come in to get my comics, and he comes out and he's like, "Hey, I need you to come in here and help me with this role playing game." And I'm like, "Okay." So I go in. And he's like, he hands me a character sheet already filled out. He's like, here, just play this character. And it's like an elf, an elf sorcerer. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. Like there is no more a non-Ryan. You could not get farther away from a character that Ryan would play than an elf sorcerer. I was like, you got a barbarian or something, or like even a monk. I can work with a monk. And he's like, no, this is the only one I had. I need you to get in this game because we need one more person. I was like, all right. I'm a terrible sorcerer, by the way. I was just sort of like, I want to fist fight it. And you're like, you can't use a spell. Like,
I want to use magic fists.
I played a bard. I'm playing a bard fawn, which is like a little deer dude. So I have antlers and deer legs.
Ah, nice. You know how
I made the mistake of trying to be melee in the first game, and I almost died. I think the DM felt bad for me because he was going to kill me. Like I would have just died immediately,
right? Because
it was a pretty tough fight. And the way it works, like not to get too far into the weeds, but you have 2d12. You roll 2 dice. One of them is always your hope die, and one of them is always your fear die. So you roll the 2d12. Whichever die is higher, you tell the DM. So you add those two numbers together. So you roll a 5 and a 3, right? You get an 8. But then you tell the DM, the 5 was on my hope die. And the DM says, okay, you get a hope on your character sheet. And you use the hope to, like, do spells and abilities and shit.
Oh, that's kind of
cool.
But
if you get a fear, the DM gets a fear point, and then they can use that to like wrestle control back from you during combat, or like throw wrenches into your plans. They can spend fear that way. So it's like a back and
complication.
Forth. Yeah,
that's pretty
Fallout has a similar system that they literally are just called complications, where if you succeed, if you fail, like critically fail, you fail with a complication. Like it's not just like it's you miss and something fucked up happens.
Yeah. That's the classic natural one that we used to do in D&D in high school, you know? Mm-hmm. Oh, you cut your balls off.
Yeah.
You got a natural one with a dagger. You cut it off.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking about this the other day. You know how we've talked about like if we were actual D&D characters in life, what our classes and things like that would be. And the more that I think about it, I know you guys have told me that you think I would be a bard. But the more I think about it, I don't know why. I was thinking about this when I was at work the other day in the bathroom, where I do all my great thinking. I'm pretty sure I'd be a rogue. I can
see that.
I think I would more try to sneak around than have direct conflict.
You'd be a charisma-based rogue, though. I think that's why we thought you'd be a bard, because charisma would be your main stat. So I think you'd be a charisma-based bard. I don't know if I can imagine you like sneaking through an attic and stabbing somebody in the neck, but I can imagine you walking through the front door and talking your way in.
Well,
Okay.
there's different.
Hey,
Yeah,
baby.
there's different kinds of rogues. Like there's your ninja. There's your like Robin Hood, and then there's like your Jack Sparrow, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See, I think I would be more like the Robin Hoodie kind of guy, though. Like, if I do have to get into combat, it's going to be probably far away from you. You're not going to know that I'm attacking when I attack. But for the most part, I might try to like talk my way out of things. I could see that. Talk my way into situations, out of situations. Yeah. I don't know why I was thinking about that, but I was.
I could see it though.
Yeah. Well, so I was trying to think about what I've been doing. I'm still playing Blueprints. That game is insane. And like every time I think like there's nothing else to find, that's like, oh, by the way, there's this whole other thing that you didn't know existed. I think we're pretty much doing the last thing that we can, though, at this point, that's at least known to exist, I believe. The game called Isle of Sea and Skies had a really big update that's really cool. I'm going to try to get back into that game. That game is pretty cool. See what that's about. But a movie that I watched that I recommended to you, Ryan, and definitely recommend. I don't know if I recommended it to you as well, Brandon. You would like it, I'm sure. But definitely recommend on high is Freaky Tales. This is a movie that has Tom Hanks, Pedro Pascal, and some other people. I can't think off the top of my head. I know there's a couple other bigger names, but it's basically an anthology film in the style of like an 80s sci-fi horror type of movie. And the tales all are kind of intertwined in the end. But the reason I suggest it more than anything to Ryan is because the underlying theme is basically Nazis versus punks. And so a big part of the movie is punks killing Nazis. And that's right up Ryan's alley. So
I'm into that. I'm looking at the cast now. Ben Mendelsohn.
Yep. Ben Mendelsohn is in it. It's goofy. It's goofy as all get out. But it's got that, like, you could see it having been a movie. Like, I mean, Surf Nazis Must Die.
Not to suggest Surf Nazis Must Die. Yeah.
Surf Nazis Must Die. It's, obviously there's some inspiration from that in some ways. But yeah, what's not to like about punks killing Nazis?
Yeah.
Well, good. Yeah, I will watch that at some point. Hopefully this weekend I'll have some free time to like sit and watch stuff. So
yeah, let me know if you do.
Yeah. I haven't been watching. Oh, I've been watching Peacemaker season 2, and I can tell it's gonna fuck me up. Have you guys watched that at all?
I watched the first couple episodes of it, and I recognize that there is some art there, but I could not. I could
So
not.
You watched the first couple episodes of season 2
of season 1
or the first? Okay. Well, I can tell it's gonna fuck me up because it's the whole premise of the show is he's a shitty dude who's trying to be better, but everybody around him just kind of thinks he's shitty. So it's really kind of an uphill battle for him. And he's also done like a bunch of really shitty things in the past. But then also too, his dad in the first season, I mean, it's not a spoiler or anything like this. Like to say his dad is a real piece of shit. Like he's a white supremacist, like Nazi piece of shit. And he hates him, like he's real abusive towards him and stuff like that. And then in this season, he discovers a parallel universe where his dad loved him.
Oh no.
and like his life is perfect in this universe. Like he's a successful superhero. He's respected. Like everybody likes him. Like his love interest like actually likes him back. And it seems to like stem from the fact that his dad loved him when he was. I was like, oh, cool. So you're gonna take aim at an entire generation of people. I'm sure we're all gonna learn a valuable lesson at the end of this, just like with. gun project. We're all going to be deep in our feelings and talk about this with our therapist afterwards. But it's like, hey, we know, but hey, come on.
Yeah, that's funny.
Look at that cattail.
It's a good cattail.
I just had to slowly push her off the desk.
Yeah. But other than that, I did watch this show. I don't know. You guys do mysteries at all?
Yeah.
I watched this show. Willow recommended it to me. It's called The Residence. It's about a.
Oh, yeah.
I watched that. I enjoyed it. Like it's a murder mystery. It's a locked room murder mystery, which I enjoy. And one of the things I really like doing when I watch shows like that is I like to figure it out. I like to see how far in advance I can figure it out. And it makes everybody, except for Willow, who also does it too, it makes everybody crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'll pause it. Like when we're watching, I'll pause it and be like, hold on. Like I'm like piecing things together. Like I was insufferable. Did you guys ever play A Wolf Among Us?
No, but I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
I kept fucking notes. I kept fucking notes on that game as I was playing it.
That game was so good.
It was really good. It's the game that made me be like, okay, so I would either be a really good cop or a bad cop. It's like that first encounter where you come across the boy and it looks like his dad is abusing him, and you're like, I might just fucking kill this guy.
Did you play through all 5 episodes?
No, I only played through like the first 3.
Okay, there's a part with Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and you have to choose whether you want to kill one of them or not. Did you make it that far?
I don't think so.
Okay, I won't go any further than that if you ever do play it again. But yeah, my girlfriend at the time was watching me play it, and I chose to kill him. And she was like, holy shit, because like it's very violent how you kill him. And it's kind of nebulous as to whether you're doing it for the right reasons or whether you're just doing it out of revenge, as opposed to being a good cop. But yeah, I love those Telltale games. Those things were a lot of fun.
Yeah, I played the Guardians of the Galaxy Telltale game. That was pretty fun. But it's like one of the only like nice things my dad ever really said about me is that I would have been a good detective. And but cops not going to do that. Anyway, that's the Residence was the name of the show that I was watching. It's like a person gets murdered inside the White House during a diplomatic event, and shenanigans ensue. But it was very good. If you guys like mysteries, it's very quirky, very funny. It was in the vein of. Did you ever see the original, like the Clue movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's very similar to that, like tonally.
Oh, okay.
But I will like it.
So it's funny, but like there's a lot of like twists and turns, and like it requires some. You can't like if you want to actually figure it out, you have to actually pay attention.
Right. Yeah, that's one that's Kira and I have been toying around with starting, but I feel like
it's good. I recommend.
Yeah, we may have to do that then. I appreciate the recommendation. We got anything else? Gray Man.
I thought I froze.
Oh no.
Oh, you're back now.
Now you're back.
Me? I wasn't the one frozen.
Yeah.
You were the one frozen.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us this evening, dear gentle listener. Thanks for joining us as we discovered our woodland spirit. And until next time, I have been your host and very best friend, Ryan Brown.
Put my hood up and go back into the dark woods of the forest with my crooked staff. I'm the shepherd of the forest, Brandon Full.
And I'll just leave this kiss right, or this kiss. I'll just leave this cheek right here for kissing. I'm David Musgrave, the man kissed by all angels. And we're probably not okay.